Hi guys, today we're going to talk about finding zeros. So we've learned about zeros quite a while now. In previous unit, I think it was from like second quarter or something like that, we learned how to find a zero. You guys remember, say which word represents same thing as zero? We talked about it. Same thing as x-intercept. So 0 is same as x-intercept, okay? What's another word represent zeros? I'm going to introduce two more words that represent zeros. So 0 is same as x-intercept, and then it's same as solution. We also call that roots. Okay? So 0, x-intercept, solution, and root, they represent exactly same thing. So when you're asked to find 0, x-intercept, solution, and roots, what you need to do is you look and see where the graph crossed the x-axis. That's simple, right? So let's take a look at the next question. It says find the 0 of each graph. So all you need to do is you need to find the x-intercept because 0 is same as x-intercept. So if you look at this graph, we never talk about this kind of graph. We call this parabola. And this kind of graph you will see when you graph quadratic equations. It's a U shape. You don't see the bottom of it right here, but usually it's going to go like right down and then go up. So it's going to make a U shape, and we call that parabola. So when you're asked to find the zeros from this graph, how many x-intercepts do you see? There's one right there, and then one right there. So, first x-intercept is negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then second x-intercept is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright? Then can you guys find the zeros for the rest of the graphs? Pause the video and now work on it. Okay, so if you look at this picture, guys, the 0 of the first one is negative 3 and 2. And then this one has 0 of 8. So sometimes you will see two zeros, then sometimes you see 1 0. How about this case? Let's draw a picture right here. I'm going to draw graph. This is the y-axis and this is x-axis. What if the graph goes like this? Then how many zeros do you see? You will see no zeros. So when you solve quadratic equation, you can have no zeros, 1 zeros, or 2 zeros. Okay? How about the next question? Let's take a look at the next one. It says, given the factors, find the zeros of each function. Then sketch each graph. So, there are actually two ways of doing this problem. First way to do it is you can just graph this on your graphing calculator. So you can do x plus 4 and x minus 7 on the graphing calculator. So let's get out the graphing calculator. Let's work on this problem. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to y equals, put the factored form on your graphing calculator. So I'm going to put x plus 4, parentheses, x minus 7. Okay, so once I graph it, I just need to hit graph. What do you see? Once you put the factored form on your graphing calculator, do you see the zeros are negative 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So zeros are negative 4 and positive 7. So you can go ahead and write down negative 4 and positive 7. Those are the zeros. And then you can actually graph it. 1, 2, 3, 4, negative. And then positive 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Okay. Now, what's another way of finding zeros? What if you don't have a calculator? There's another way of doing this. Instead of using the graphing calculator, you can solve it algebraically by setting up 0. So, if you look at this, x plus 4 and x minus 7 is 0. That means in order to be 0, either the first expression can be 0 or second expression can be 0. So we call this zero property. If you want to end up with a 0, one of the products should be 0. So you need to put first one equal to 0, second one equal to 0, and then solve it. So how do you solve for x? X is equal to, by subtracting 4, negative 4. 0 is, you add 7, and then x equals 7. So either way, you're going to end up with the same answer. I'm sure you like graphing method better because you can just put it in the calculator. You can calculate it right away, but you also need to know how to use the zero property. So first of all, if you have a factored form, you just set both of them equal to 0 and then go from there. Okay? Now let's try the next one. So you can graph this next one, x minus 2, x minus 5, on your graphing calculator. Okay? You can pause the video, try that. You may pause the video right now. So when you graph it, you're going to end up with x minus 2, x minus 5. You hit graph, you're going to end up with x equals 2, x equals 5. So when you put your answers, you're going to just put x is 2, x is 5. So 2, 5, and then graph it. Doesn't have to be perfect. So one way of it is graphing it. Another way of it is you just use the zero property. So x minus 2 equals 0, x minus 5 equals 0. So x equals 2, x equals 5. Because you're adding 2 to both sides, you're adding 5 to both sides. Okay, so we call this zero product method, and this is graphing method. Right? Do you realize something very interesting? When you see the factors versus zeros, what do you see? This is x minus 2, x minus 5. Your zeros are positive 2, positive 5. Same thing for here. When your factor is x plus 4, your 0 is negative 4. Your factor is x minus 7, your 0 is 7. So can we really say 0 and zeros and factors are kind of opposite? Got that? All right, let's turn to the next page. So now let's take a look at the next page. So given the equation, find the zeros of a function, then sketch graph. But if you look at the first question, x squared minus 4x minus 12 equals 0, I don't see the factored form. So what do I need to do first? First thing first is we need to factor. Do you guys remember x squared minus 4x minus 12? How do I factor? We need to use x method. Okay? So, 2x squared minus 4x minus 12, what goes on the top of x? Negative 12. What goes on the bottom of x? Negative 4. Okay? Can you guys pause the video and factor? Go ahead and pause the video. Okay? So when you factor this, you end up with x minus 6 and then x plus 2 equals 0. You can either graph it or you can use the zero property. I think from now on, we're going to start practicing zero property only. So let's go ahead and do that. So x minus 6, we just need to set it equal to 0. X plus 2, set it equal to 0. X is equal to 6 and negative 2. How do I solve this? You're just adding 6 to both sides. You're subtracting 2 from both sides. And we also talked about factors and zeros are kind of opposites, right? So when you have zeros, you have x of negative 2, and then y x of 6, and then you just need to graph the parabola. My parabola is like a little ugly, but it's okay. Okay, so all you need to do is, if you have something like this, first of all, you need to factor, then set it equal to 0 so that you can use the zero property to find the zeros. These are the zeros, these are the solutions, these are the roots, these are the x-intercepts. Okay? So I want you to pause the video. I want everyone to work on this question. So this question is f of x equals x squared minus 9x plus 14. So all you need to do is you need to factor, use zero property, find the 0. Go ahead and try it. Pause the video. Okay, so here's how you do it. First of all, you factor, and then once you have factored form, you're going to set each one equal to 0. So, for example, x minus 2 equals 0, and then x minus 7 equals 0. So, solve for x, then you end up with 2 and 7. Again, remember guys, factors and zeros are opposites. Okay? We'll do more practice in class. Have a good day.